Okay, everybody say it with me now. Let the controller die. I don't care how much you say you only want new games, there's at least one port or remaster that could be announced tomorrow and you would lose your mind. Some people are just more honest about it. In the interest of that honesty, I want to talk about some GameCube games that I want to see get a second life of sorts through remasters on Nintendo Switch. GameCube was a really underappreciated console in Nintendo's history. It was the last time they cared about competing with Sony or Microsoft on a one-to-one basis. It was the beginnings of Nintendo lending their IP to other studios to make cool shit, and it was the birthing place of what people call the best Nintendo controller. Those people are crazy and it's 15 years old and it's only good for certain games, but I digress. Now before I really jump into this video, 3 things. First, this isn't meant to be the definitive collection of GameCube games that have ever existed and should therefore be the only remasters to exist on Switch. It's my list. Turns out you're legally allowed to have your own opinion. Leave them in the comments. I'd love to check them out. We'll even talk about some of them on the podcast directly to you. That goes live every Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Next, remasters don't mean new games can't exist. It does not take up any needed resources for newer games. Outside studios work on these games, not big studios that work on the next big thing. So, no point in complaining about that. We all want new games. They will come regardless. Lastly, Virtual Console is dead. Let's all accept it. Moving on. First of all, how in the world is a new Luigi's Mansion remaster coming out and not on Nintendo Switch? I know there's still people that are unfortunate enough to be stuck with the rotting remains of Nintendo 3DS and everything. I appreciate the fact that they want fresh content too, but why make Nintendo Switch owners suffer? We should get Luigi's Mansion 2. HD Rumble could enhance the experience a lot, especially when you consider the audio capabilities that come with it. I want to hear ghosts, Luigi's terrified musings, and poltergeist sounds. Also, the obvious benefit of playing a higher fidelity version of the game, both on a screen that has a better resolution than a postage stamp and on the TV, is nothing to scoff at. Because, you know, the original game is a console game after all. I get that Nintendo developed the game with the intention of making it stereoscopic 3D and everything, but who really is using that anyway? Let's be honest, most people will use the 3D maybe twice at best. This game is way too spooky to play all the way through in 3D. No mere mortal could handle the sheer horror that is Luigi's Mansion. So much so, in fact, I'm going to stop torturing you guys and talk about a much more lighthearted game, Eternal Darkness. This game was knocking on the door of maximizing the potential of the medium. To me, a game that's worth crazy accolades is a game that seeks to use the medium for everything it is. They shouldn't just want to be a movie that lets you press X sometimes, and they shouldn't be a game with a pointless story to facilitate phenomenal gameplay. It should be a marriage of all of that. Eternal Darkness specifically is notable in this regard because of how it uses the medium to freak the player out with the usage of sanity effects, all of which could be improved with the increased capabilities of Nintendo Switch. Maybe some effects could be updated to be more believable, like the TV volume bar using information from your system settings to display a volume bar that's indicative of your actual TV model. Or maybe they can include a more Switch handheld specific sanity effect that makes it look like your screen's cracked. I'm sure HD Rumble could be used in interesting ways to mess with the player too. Point is, I want to see what sanity effects could happen in a remaster of Eternal Darkness, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Nintendo has been renewing the trademark on that IP for forever. There was the crowdfunding attempts for a spiritual successor. Why not gauge interest with a remaster? Because I'm sure that no one wants to see a colorful, feel-good, fun game like Super Mario Sunshine. Because literally everyone has been leaving that comment on our channel and many other Nintendo focused channels. I'm sure since the dawn of time, and I can't blame them. Nintendo had the audacity to not put a Mario Sunshine Kingdom and Super Mario Odyssey, even though Isle Delfino is clearly on the map. I, for one, vote we all demand Nintendo to greenlight a remaster of the original game for Nintendo Switch. Then, I vote we all boycott it to show Nintendo we ain't around. All jokes aside, Super Mario Sunshine was one step closer to the perfected 3D Mario formula. The camera could use some more work, and we can go without the pachinko nonsense, but other than that, just give me some sweet HD water goodness. Remove Bowser's voice acting and we're golden. The Dolphin emulator version of this game is a good indicator that Mario Sunshine could be gorgeous on Switch. Also, I just want to be able to play literally every 3D Mario game on Switch. Give me the very stupid business move on Nintendo's end that is the HD Mario 3D All-Stars pack. Nobody would spend upwards of $40 per game or anything like that. Nintendo would totally put all 5 or so 3D Mario games on one $60 cart. Wishful thinking aside, I for one am all for polishing up GameCube gems in the same way that they did Wind Waker, and to a lesser degree, Twilight Princess. Mario Kart Double Dash is a lot of people's favorite Mario Kart game. I'm not one of those people. It's way too loose. If I'm being honest, I'd even put Mario Kart Wii and 7 over it. What I do like about Double Dash is the double driver mechanic, mostly for the novelty of it all. Also, this was back in the days that Nintendo didn't absolutely despise Diddy Kong, so he's in the game and that's a plus. I'd like to see that make its way to Switch. It's a great candidate for best game to play with a friend with split Joy-Con. Maybe Switch Online can even facilitate 24-player online matches, considering the fact that half of the players have half of the functionality half of the time. They could add some more courses from newer games, give me Mii's, maybe add the option for 200cc, all of that, subtracting the loose physics, something I don't think they should change to keep it distinct from the superior Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And we have a perfect game. Speaking of perfect games, remember when Paper Mario wasn't soulless? Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door is the best Paper Mario game. If you don't agree, you better think the original Paper Mario is the best Paper Mario game, because any other opinion is stupid and anyone that has that opinion has failed their parents. After this game, the Paper Mario series began the gradual erosion of everything that made it a great series that's distinct and separate from other Mario games. This is the peak of the series that inspired the gameplay of South Park's Stick of Truth. This was one of the games that further explored a Mario world with characters that have endearing qualities. Now, Paper Mario games are more platformers with a vastly inferior battling system. Maybe this game being remastered on Switch can remind Nintendo of why we love Paper Mario in the first place. FZero is another series that Nintendo has very clearly ignored a fan base that loves one of their classic IP. GX, in my opinion, is the best of this series, which is interesting because it's one of those notable games that I alluded to when I mentioned the fact that GameCube was the first place where Nintendo allowed more developers to use their IP. And to make things even crazier, in the time this game came out, it wasn't just any outside developer, it was Sega. That was wild to think about back then. But I digress. I talked a lot about this series and game in a video a while ago. Check that video out by clicking the eye icon up in the top right corner. After this video, of course. This game, like many others in this video, can serve as a Trojan horse of sorts to justify a new game being considered for Nintendo Switch, even if that means tapping a third party to make it happen. FZero deserves a seat at the table. Nintendo needs to realize it's a different experience from Mario Kart. They both can coexist. And while we're still on this subject of racing games that should be remastered for Nintendo Switch, Kirby Air Ride was an awesome change of pace with the best Kirby multiplayer mode to date in City Trials. Kirby Air Ride is bar none my favorite Kirby game since Kirby Superstar, and that's 1000% because I'm tired of playing through iterations of Kirby Superstar. There's a lot of building blocks in this game that could amount to something much bigger in a future game. But in the meantime, I'd love to experience the original game with new visual flourishes, online play, and of course the ability to play it on the go. Animal Crossing is a game I and many others want to see come to Nintendo Switch, but I gotta be honest on this one. I literally only want this specific version of the game to be brought to Switch for the classic Nintendo games, even if it ends up being through a low effort up-res port. It won't happen because since the Wii, Nintendo discovered they can resell us on these games over and over again, but a guy can dream. I'm gonna dream. Super Smash Bros. Melee isn't my favorite Smash Bros. Game. I'm definitely not in that camp. But with that being said, I'm all for giving the people that love the game the opportunity to play it on current hardware. Despite the fact that they're all asking for it, a lot of them strike me as the type to avoid even that and stick to playing the original version on GameCube because of some small discrepancy that only they can see. I'm joking, mostly. I understand and respect the fact that a lot of people love this game, and we got a Smash Bros. 64 release on Wii, and by extension Wii U. Why not do that again and have the ability to play every Smash Bros. Game on Switch? I'd be down for that. And while they're at it, give me some Joy-Con with analog triggers. Probably should have mentioned that for Mario Sunshine. The Metroid Prime trilogy is a no-brainer, and sort of a cheat code considering the fact that the Metroid Prime trilogy game itself and Prime 3 are Wii games, but we're gonna let that slide today. With Prime 4 coming at some point in the future, Nintendo would be smart to allow the opportunity to play through these games again on a platform that core gamers own and play. Sure, a lot of people had Wii and could have picked these games up, but let's be real, people that are interested in playing Prime 4 now almost certainly didn't play Wii outside of socializing with family and friends that did. So, putting the games on a platform they're excited for I think makes a lot of sense. I played all of these games at one point or another, and even I could use a refresher before Prime 4 comes out. Also, maybe that could be legwork that's useful for Prime's development in the same way the Zelda remasters on Wii U were the foundation for Breath of the Wild. The Prime remaster could serve a similar purpose, unless of course a lot more work is done on Metroid Prime 4 than we're led to believe, but that's another video for another time. My biggest reason for wanting the Prime trilogy on Switch though is playing through games with the atmosphere of the Prime series on a handheld I think would be incredible, and I don't necessarily want to wait until Prime 4 to do that. Also, we're lacking shooters on Switch. So far, we just have Doom, Splatoon, and soon to be released Wolfenstein 2. The Metroid series is a welcome addition, if you ask me. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? What GameCube games do you want to see remastered on Nintendo Switch? And what changes do you want to see in them, if any? Let me know in the comments. Like my ideas, like the video, and share this video with a friend who also wants to see GameCube remasters and would maybe have their own list to share in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, if you like podcasts, you can check ours out. Me and Logan will chat about your GameCube list, and we'll talk about a whole bunch of other Nintendo stuff. That goes up here every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Also iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, other podcast services that are not Spotify. Don't ask me why. I've been hurt before. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.